welcome back to Manchester Garage. Let's get on with part 2 of the Celica GT4. Where did we leave off? Cam cover. Yeah, let's get that looking a bit nicer. Okay, so first stage, just knock off the worst of it with a brush drill. As you can see, it comes up that kind of grey colour. Definitely mask up. Aluminium stuff is not good for you. And then I've got a Scotch wheel on a grinder. Doesn't bring it up perfect, but it's a darn sight better than it was, and it doesn't take too long doing this at all. Right, that's that jazzed up enough. Let's flip it over, pull the seal out. As you can see, loads of aluminium oxide corrosion on the male section of the seal there, and it's all in these grooves. That's all got to come out. The devil's in the detail. If we don't get this powderiness out, it's only going to end up leaking. So get the old brush in there and get that out. There we go, all nice and clean in those grooves. I think before I put the cam cover on, I'm actually going to do the cam belt, new water pump, tensioners, etc. because it's quite useful. You can see on the markers here, got the exhaust marker there. There's a groove in the cam there, so that helps you line it up. Getting the cam belt on. So before I cover that up, I think I'll get this driven end on. Toyota, you absolute arseholes. Why on earth have they got this bracket overlapping the water pump when this whole bracket is down here and it supports the AC pump here? So I've got to remove the AC pump. At least I don't have to undo the lines because they're on flexies, but I've got to remove that just to get this damn thing out of the way. My God, I thought the Japs were good at logical work styles, but clearly not. What the fucking shit is going on here? Look, they've even managed to jam the aircon pump behind this bracket as well. Like, jamming the water pump behind it wasn't enough. They've also jammed it in. How are we supposed to get this off? To get that off? Oh my God, Japan, you stupid bastards. Oh, crouching tiger, hidden bolt. What the actual are you thinking? What? That's fucking behind the... That's behind the... Why? Why? Finally, after some rigorous wiggling, I've got the pump drop down out of the way, just so that I can get to that bolt, so I can get this bracket off, so I can get this water pump off. Who designed this? And that's after I had to remove the thermostat housing. Luckily, we've got a new thermostat to go in now. That one looks pretty good, actually. But he's been good with his coolant. Used proper Toyota stuff. So, but yeah, whilst we're out, we've got a new thermostat to go in there. So we shall do that at the same time. Right, let's get this bracket off. And I think I might have a clean down there whilst I'm here. Jeez, am I glad to get that water pump off. Alright, not particularly technical, but completely unnecessary design to have to take that whole bracket off. But still, at least I'm at the point where I can start putting it back together. Oh, and if you've cleaned everything up and pressure washed it like I have in here, don't forget to get your air gun and blast out all your holes and whatnot. It stops the rust, and you don't want like hydraulic action to like crack the block or any silly things like that. Oh, so this is turning into a fucking ordeal. So, just loosely fitting the tensioner here. Top bolt hole is alright. The bottom one, that one right there, stripped. So, whoever did this before clearly over tightened that and then banged it back in with a bit of thread lock. I mean, I only did it up with a quarter drive ratchet and not even anywhere near 25 Newton meters, which it should be for an M8 like that, and it's stripped already. Oh, and look at the space, or should I say lack of space I've got in there to get helicoil in. So I might look at trying to get a stud in there, see how deep the hole is. If I can get a stud in there, then we're on to a winner. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, some pretty shoddy engineering practice here, to be honest. As you can see, the thickness of the casting is the same, so that's not causing us any problems. Engineering rule is generally you would have 1.5 times the diameter of your bolt, so that's 8mm, so 1.5 times that is 12. You'd have that threaded section going into the female thread. We've got, what, It's like 9-10 mil at best. So, all right, another couple of mil doesn't sound like a lot, but that would bring us almost to the end of that blank section there. So the hole is fairly deep. So I'm going to stud the bottom hole, which is knackered, and then I'm going to use a bolt in the top with a longer threaded section, because why wouldn't you? Yeah, and I've just measured the depth of the hole, and it's got to be about 24 mil. So they're not even using half of the threaded section in there, and it's aluminium straight into the cylinder head. So yeah, that's pretty shoddy practice really. So let's get that sorted out for them. Dear Toyota, would it really have killed you to have used a slightly longer bolt? No, it wouldn't. So first things first, let's throw a tap down there. Yes, I'm using a spanner because, well, as you can see, access isn't exactly ideal down here. Yeah, I don't normally like doing that. However, because we're just chasing out a thread that's already there, it's not so critical. I'm going in with a taper tap first, just to pick up on what's left of the thread in that first section there, just so it engages properly, and then I'll go in with the plug tap, and then I will see what length stud I can get in there. Well, what are the chances of that? I've got a grub screw, just the right length, stainless steel as well, but because it's going into aluminium, get a bit of never seize on it, because yeah, that'll still corrode the aluminium despite the fact it's stainless. Okay, that's that stud sitting in there nicely, looking pretty close on that engine mounting bracket there. Hopefully the that section will get squeezed in there. If not, I've got to take that damn thing off. Let's see how I get on. Right, that's that slightly longer top bolt fitted and torqued up. When you're putting longer bolts in, just double check that whenever you're bolting up like this, give it a wiggle and just check you have torqued it down, because sometimes the longer bolt will bottom out on the bottom of the hole and you won't actually be torquing the whatever you're bolting down properly. So yeah, that's that sorted. I'll get a tiny little dab of thread lock on there, and I'll get that nut fitted. Finally back on. That's an hour of my life I'll never get back again. Yeah, I wonder how many more fuck-ups of other people's I'm going to have to put right on this thing. Hopefully no more, because that was an ordeal. Right, that's the cam belt back in. Glad to see that done. Time to get this stupid bracket back in. Not that it deserves it, but it's had a lick of paint, and I've freed off this collar here with that free, and I've got a bit of copper grease in there. With that free and moving, it means I can slide that out a little bit, and it helps get the aircon pump back in behind it. So let's get that back on. Right, that's the thermostat replaced in there, and the housing given a little polish up on the bob wheel, so that's looking good. Ooh, that nice painted bit makes that bit look bad. Oh, I'll give it a quick lick of paint before I go home. Okay, we're back next morning. That's nice and dry, so that alternator bracket's back on. We need to give the engine a couple of cranks by hand, just to check everything lines up before we put that top belt cover on. Before we can do that, we need to put the crank pulley on. It has showed signs when it was pretty tight getting off. See where it's picked up there? There's a couple of score lines. I think it's picked up just on the edge of the crank. See another bit, couple of bits there. That's the problem with aluminium pulleys. Aluminium's quite waxy in its properties, so when it catches on like an edge of something, it galls quite badly. That's aftermarket, by the way. The original one would have been cast iron. Now cast iron's got kind of like self-lubricating properties, they call it, so they tend to slide on these a lot nicer. Normally these solid pulleys, crank pulleys, can be not a dodgy move, but you've got to be quite careful with them on normal engines, because they can put vibration into the oil pump, and you can end up with cracked oil pump gears and whatnot. But on these engines, it's behind the cover now, but the oil pump is run off the cam belt on its own shaft there, so it's yeah, it's safe to use this kind of solid lightweight pulley on these engines. So yeah, I'm going to. I've had the drill with a little sanding barrel on it, just tickling up and down there. But I suspect there's a little. I think I can just feel with my fingernail. There's just a little edge on there, so I'm just going to get the Dremel with a little barrel sanding fitting like that. I'll get on there, just put a bit of a lead in just around there. So let's crack on and do that. Okay, there's a nice little shallow chamfer added to the nose of the crank there. Don't be scared to put a little lead in on things like this. You've got all that land there to take the load, so don't worry about one little corner there. It helps get the pulley on safely, that's what's important. I've also put a bit of a lead in on the Woodruff keyway there, just to help align this once we've fitted the Woodruff key in there and ready to slide him on. Okay, that's the crank pulley all nicely slipped on and torqued up there, and we've even got the top cam belt cover on, so we can tick that off the list. So just went to refit the engine mount and I remembered this little surprise for me. Look at the state of those threads. So someone has done something daft here. Ugh, sick of just having to put other people's fuck-ups right. Yeah, annoyingly I haven't got an M10 by 1.25 tap, so I've just got one of them on order, so I can clean them out, and I've got some new screws to go back in there. But oh, yet another hold up. Right, with the top end and cam cover back on, I can get the throttle body back on, but I'm going to give it a bit of a brush up first because it's all looking a bit grotty. And some of these small bore pipes here, they're just standard rubber. They don't last forever, those things, so I've got some silicone pipe to replace them with. So yeah, let's get it cleaned up. There we go, that's better. That looks a bit less neglected, doesn't it? Right, onto this furry looking bracket, and very careful brush up the throttle body next. Right, that's the throttle body and support bracket all refitted. Alternator next, but I think I'll give that a little dust off before I plonk it in place. That's the alternator all cleaned up and refitted. Brand new auxiliary belt, of course. Didn't have a new tensioner, but that was the bearing's still really good in that, so just cleaned up the running surface there. So that's something to tick off the list. Right, the old plugs look pretty healthy, but they've been sat around for 10 years, so we've got some nice new ones, so we'll get them fitted. Spark plugs, fitted, tick it off the list. Okay, let's get this little job off the list. Battery tray, the plastic bit that sits in there, but of course it catches moisture and whatnot, so let's get that treated. There we go, there's a layer of rust converter in there, and then a nice thick layer of hammerite on top. That's good to go, 5 minutes well spent. Right, next little side quest, I've got the turbo heat shield off because one of these screws snapped, so we'll have a go at getting that out elsewhere. There we go, pilot hole looking pretty central. The trick is not to worry too much about going straight down the centre with the drill immediately. Just get the drill cutting, and then manipulate and manoeuvre it round, move the hole around until you look in centre, and then go down in it. Right, that's that thread recovered. I just went in with a 6.5 because an M8 is a 6.8 tap-in drill, so just go a little bit lower than the size of the tap-in drill, and then yeah, tapped out the top of the old broken stud till I could reveal some thread. Popped a plug tap in just to get the thread started. Then I went in with a taper tap, and then finished off with a plug tap again. And yeah, so that'll live to see another day. Right, heat shield ready to go on. Let's just give that little mess in there a quick tickle. Be rude not to while I'm here. There we go. That's the worst of it knocked off. Good enough for the girls we know. Right, let's get this heat shield back on, and we're going to treat it to some stainless screws with a bit of Never-Seez. Doesn't matter if you use this kind of this kind of never see easy stuff or copper grease, it doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as you use something on hot bits, because otherwise bolts snap like that one did. Just spotted what I thought was been an old cam belt cover that I'd taken off. Wouldn't it be funny if it's the seal off the bottom cam belt cover? Wouldn't that just be hilarious? Oh, here we go again. Okay, that actually took 5 minutes to get off. That wasn't too bad. Old belt and bottom pulley, but of course, because I took the time to tidy that bottom pulley up, there were some little micro pit dents in there which I had to polish out as well. But it's all helped get it apart for the next guy, which was me, which I wasn't expecting to be so soon. But anyway, that's how the cookie crumbles, isn't it? That's better. Well, that's 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back again. But yeah, we've all done it. Hey, tell us in the comments what similar cock-ups you've made. You know, when you put stuff together and find, ooh, I should have put that in. Okay, I think that'll do us for this episode. Next time we've got stuff like the brakes to paint. The paint's come through now. I've got an inner CV boot to do on the front right, left wheel, front wheel bearing to do. All of the suspension and brakes to get back together. Still waiting for parts for them. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you on the next episode.